Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, bloodbath in Anambra State as at least 12 people confirmed killed following an attack by gunmen on a church in Ozubulu town. Police vowed to capture perpetrators of church attack in Anambra State as President Buhari, other Nigerians condemn killings. Questions over delaying the implementation of UNEP reports on Ogoni land cleanup as youths engage leaders on the issue in Port Harcourt. And more than 50 people reportedly killed in clashes between ethnic groups in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. We begin tonight in Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, where the residents of Ozubulu in Okusigo local government area of Anambra State have been thrown into anguish. And this follows the killing of 12 persons by gunmen who attacked St. Philip's Catholic Church in the town earlier today. The gunmen were said to have gone into the church during an early morning mass, shooting sporadically at worshippers, killing the 12 persons and leaving many people injured.
Whatever private plans this crowd had today has been overtaken by a most gruesome event, one that has thrown a Ozubulu community in Anambra State into confusion and mourning. They gather in their numbers at the St. Philip's Catholic Church, the scene of the incident. Just a few hours earlier, gunmen invaded the morning mass, shooting sporadically. In the process, 12 people were killed and several others left critically injured. According to the Commissioner of Police, a feud between two individuals from the community who reside overseas is suspected to be the reason for the attack. The gunmen came in with one goal in mind.
This fight has the coloration of a war between two individuals of the same community. Reason, the person that one of the individuals was alleged to have visited his hometown, which means the other faction was looking for him, and they came to the church thinking he was at the church for an early morning mass.
The state governor, Willie Obiano, is here to see things for himself. The visibly saddened governor gets more information on what transpired from the parish priest.
Somebody came inside the church and started shooting recklessly like that, but he was shooting it on the ceiling of the church. He was trying to dissuade some people, what I understand. So when I looked at the person, I discovered that maybe, I don't know actually what happened. I was just looking at him because he came to the central eye. So I was also facing the central eye like a chief servant. So the person was just shooting and they come inside the church. So I had to ask the boys who are serving at mass to let us escape.
The governor then visited the Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, where the wounded are receiving treatment. The sight of children is heartbreaking. The state government has promised to foot the bills of hospital treatment and funerals. However, the biggest promise the people want fulfilled is for those behind this to be caught.
Meanwhile, the Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano has visited the scene of the attack and assured that thorough investigation will be carried out immediately and the perpetrators brought to book.
What happened today at Amawa, Ozubulu, is unprecedented and is clearly unacceptable. What has transpired here that led to the killing of very innocent people, and in all places, a holy place, inside the church, very sacrilegious, is clearly unacceptable. But this is from the brief I've just received from the CP. This is a feud between the children of this community that live outside Nigeria. This feud has been traced to the children of this very community that live outside Nigeria. And there's no reason for that feud to be carried to the holy place like the church, and innocent people were killed. I'm not going to rest until everybody that is involved in this crime is brought to book. I can assure you that.
12 people have been confirmed dead in that massacre at the St. Philip's Catholic Church in Anambra State, according to the update from the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Garba Umar, who also says the command has set in motion actions to forestall the perpetrators from fleeing the state.
We have made some an investigation which has been headed especially to those who were at that place. We called them to give us an update and eyewitnesses, and they are helping us with the investigation. It wasn't an arrest per se, but a kind of invitation to the police to shed more light, because they were there when the incident happened, and they are helping us with the investigation. We are making progress on the possibility of making arrests very soon.
What is the Nigerian police doing, especially the Anambra Command, to ensure that these people do not in any way see or get close to the border in terms of escaping?
We have made some adjustment in our operations, and we are sure the public are aware of what we have done, and then they appreciate it, especially the town where the incident happened and other places. And then we also look at the other churches around and other places of worship to make sure that adequate securities are provided, and then we sensitize the people on how to report incidents as soon as possible. And as you can see, we have our intelligence network, and that was what lead to our absolute and immediate response, whereby the people are rescued and rushed to hospital to save their lives.
And the President, Muhammadu Buhari, has condemned the Ozubulu church attack in Anambra State, expressing his sympathy with the families of the victims and the church and the state government. In a statement from his media office today, the President describes the incident as an appalling crime against humanity and an unspeakable sacrilege. According to the President, every religion lays emphasis on the sanctity of life, and all Nigerians should speak against the acts of evil men. Senate President Mr. Bukola Saraki has also condemned the attack on the church in Anambra State, saying that the perpetrators of the crime must be brought to book. He expressed sadness over the incident via Twitter, saying, "I join all Nigerians in grieving today's horrific massacre of innocent worshippers in St. Philip's Catholic Church in Anambra State. My heart goes out to the families of the victims and the survivors of this terrible massacre, and the government and people of Anambra State." He's asked security agencies to carry out their duties in ensuring that the perpetrators are brought to justice. Also, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, expressed displeasure over the attack, describing it as abominable, barbaric and inhuman. While condoling with residents of the state, he also stated that perpetrators must face the wrath of the law. We have more reactions trailing the shooting which occurred today in St. Philip's Catholic Church in Anambra State. This time, a former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, who has described the shooting as an act of terror. Professor Odinkalu was guest on our political program, Sunday Politics.
Some Nigerians were killed today in Ozubulu, in Anambra State, while they went to church. So there's an act of terror, because when you go shooting people, innocent worshippers in their place of worship, that is terror. Because we cannot have a country in which people, innocent people in worship, are killed, and we cannot lose perspective in a country in which innocent people are killed in worship. We've got to recognize that things are serious, and that when a country is very corrupt and corrupt people get away with not being put to account, innocent people suffer the consequence.
Let's take a further look at this tragic incident in Anambra State, and I'm being joined by security consultant Dr. Ona Ekomo. He joins us via Skype. Dr. Komu, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10. Sad day it's been for Anambra and also for the rest of Nigerians. No one expected this, on a Sunday morning. It's been a long time we heard about attacks in churches and so on. How would you describe what has just happened?
Thank you, Arachi. And I feel very saddened also by what has happened. I think it's despicable. I think it's a senseless act of mass murder that took place there this morning. I think this just goes to show the, how bad things have gotten more recently, because for someone or some persons to go out there, well, the priests in the church described that it was one person, one perpetrator, who came in there with a weapon and was shooting at people. So for someone to go in there and commit such mass murder means that we have almost lost the entire conscience, but let's get to the security part of it. I think there is a need for the police agencies to step up immediately and, take action that will lead to a quick capture, that's quick arrest of the shooter himself, and then also the people behind it, the feuding parties, whoever those people are, and ensure that those people are brought to book quickly. And the police, they have to run good policing detective work in this particular case, because there's a lot of interest in it. The president has spoken up. In fact, the entire political leadership has spoken up. And in fact, it's a very sad episode. And it also speaks to the fact of the need to continue to maintain security in places of worship, because it was a 5:30 mass, they said, and the place was apparently very porous, because we've seen this, and let's not be too shocked. We've seen a lot of this before, particularly with the kidnap incidents. People used to go to churches, shoot a lot of people and kidnap people from churches, even in the East there also, I dare say. So we've seen it play out over and over before, but this, for some time now, we haven't had this, and this was an act of, it's what we call an active shooter incident. You go in there with a gun and shoot a lot of people, expecting to be killed, but in this case, it wasn't killed, he got away.
We cannot describe this as an act of terror. Going by the story the police is giving, that this is all linked to a drug war emanating from outside of the country. What do you make of people bringing these sorts of things into church?
I think that's it's a very low blow, a low circumstance, because you know that in churches people are a little bit lax about their security. People are not very alert about their security. That's why I said we need to look again at security in place of worship, because it brings that up again. Because we, at the height of this, the kidnapping epidemic we used to have in Nigeria, a lot of people were kidnapped from churches. And so, and they will go in there, there will be mass shooting, and there will be heavy shooting, and many mass casualty situation, and then they will seize whomever they like. We've seen a lot of assassinations in churches also, even here in Lagos. So I think, I don't want to, because I hear a lot of comments about it being sacrilegious, abominable. I think that's a lot of emotional outpouring. The fact here is bad guys, they choose the target, they choose the location, and they choose the weapon they are going to use. And so that's why we need to do better threat assessments to ensure that we don't fall victim to these kinds of attacks.
Dr. Komu, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10 tonight in discussing this horrific incident in Anambra State. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and victims of those who have been affected, and of course those who are receiving treatment. We pray for their speedy recovery. In part two, after the break, the president seeks to withdraw names of 2 nominees for membership of the board of ICPC over alleged corruption. We'll have more on this. Please stay with us.